Thank you for sticking around. If the panel can come on up to the stage, and I've got 4 groups of people on the panel, if each of you can take a microphone. I just want to say we usually discuss the film afterwards, and while we're not doing that today, I encourage you to talk to your friends about this movie and tell them they can tune in to Nashville Public Television in February to see Daisy Bates, First Lady of Little Rock. Okay, so let me start introducing folks here. This is Clemmy Greenlee, right here to my left, and Clemmy is with Nashville Peacemakers, and in a moment you can introduce your guest. Then we have Penny Howard here. She is a middle school coordinator at the Martha O'Brien Center, and you can introduce your guests in a moment. And then we have Barbara Wanker, and you can introduce your guests. They're a mentor-mentee pair from Girls on the Run. And we have Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Middle Tennessee, sorry. And then we have Marcy and Shauna from Girls on the Run. So we have a microphone for you all if you want to come down this way. So yeah, we'll just take this one here. So I think we'll just go down the list. Clemmy, if you can briefly introduce your guest and just talk a little bit about your relationship and how long the two of you have been working together.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Clemmy Greenlee. I'm a nonprofit organization, grassroots, since 2001, called Nashville Peacemakers. This young lady is Keisha Sanders. I met her, I think, probably maybe 08. Well, and I started a group by just asking one question to a young lady in the streets about personal hygiene and self-esteem. That one question landed me 13 females. I've just started doing it. I opened up my living room because I didn't have a building. And when I saw it working and the young ladies kept coming and the questions kept coming, it started from there. And so this is one of my students. I mean, she's still here. She was told by a probation officer to me that I was wasting my time. So let me show you that I did not.
Hello, everybody. I'm Keisha Sanders. Basically, Miss Clemmy Greenlee helped me through a lot. I was one of those type of girls that was heading to a gang, in and out of juvenile, really just didn't care no more. And now I'm doing better. Finna graduate from high school. Attending college and going to the service space school.
And we might come back to everybody. I just want to make sure we all have enough time. So Clemmy Greenlee's organization is a grassroots mentoring organization. So we have a number of different kinds of organizations represented today. Penny Howard is working at Martha O'Brien. It's not a mentoring organization. She leads an after-school program, but I've seen her in action and think she's amazing with the students. And so can you just talk a little bit about what you do and who you've brought with you today?
I have Mrs. Tara Malone and her daughter Tiara Malone. We wear many hats at Martha O'Brien, and particularly in youth development. As the middle school coordinator, my job is simply that I advocate for the children that come through the program. And anytime someone figures out how much you care about something as dear and priceless as their child, they just buy into the mission. And so I don't just get a child, I get a family. And I love it, because when a child starts to see how much you care for them, they pass that along. So in short, you have different legal terms for it, but I just give wings until they get their own wings and take off and fly. And it's not just simply with the child. I get to permeate whether that's another sibling or that's the mom and the dad. So.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you guys doing? I'm Tara Malone, and Martha O'Brien is a very great center because my daughter, she had the worstest attitude out of this world. And now it has gotten so great due to Miss Howard working with her.
Hi, my name is Tiara Malone. I've been to Martha O'Brien for 6 years, and I met Miss Howard in 2010, and she has helped me with my attitude and my grades, and much more. And I hope she helps me more through life.
Okay, now we have Barbara from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Middle Tennessee. Can you introduce your mentee?
Sure. This is Alasia.
She can talk after you.
Yeah, Alasia Bridges, who is my little sister. We've been matched. It was 3 years in November, and the goal, from my perspective in our match, was to expose Alasia to things that she had not done. Can you tell any of the things that we've done? She's nervous. Stage right. She's learned to swim. We've canoed. Horses, we've kayaked, we've hiked. The very first time that we got together for an activity, her mother said we were going to a play, and her mom said, I don't think she's going to like that. Well, she did. And she has always been up for anything that we have, that I've suggested, anything that we've suggested together or that we've come up with together. So 3 years in November, and we're just having a great time.
No. Thank you.
She does speak.
And then we have Marcy. She's got a mic, and Marcy is from Girls on the Run, and she can introduce her guest.
Yeah, we're kind of an offshoot of Girls on the Run. Girls on the Run is actually a program for younger girls in school, and I got inspired when I was asked to teach a nutrition class at Magdalen House to do a big Girls on the Run. So this is Shauna, and I've been working with the girls since May, and since May, several of us have finished 3 5Ks together. And Shauna has a letter written by one of the other women that really explains better and more eloquently what we're doing.
Hi, I'm Shauna. I'm a resident of the Magdalen House, and we really appreciate Marcy there. She's done a lot for us. And this is written by Jennifer Klinger, one of our residents. I'm a resident of Magdalen. 2 years ago, I was hopeless, desperate, and lost. I physically felt as if I were 100 years old. I could barely make my bed without breaking a sweat. I had a moment of clarity and determined that if I did not turn my life around, I would be dead within the year. That's when I found Magdalen. They were helping me with the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of my program. But other than a physical, every couple of months, there was no one pushing me to become physically fit. At least not until Marcy came along. I remember the first time they said we was going to start a walking group. I showed up in a long flowing skirt and flip-flops. I thought we was going to walk around the block smoking cigarettes and talking.
And I honestly thought it was going to be a one-time event. I never thought I'd go back after that day.
Those thoughts could not have been further from the truth. I cannot even begin to thank Marcy enough. Since then, I've completed 3 5Ks. I work out twice a week, and she has attended a class to help me stop smoking. Today, I have the energy of a teenager, and I owe it all to Marcy. If she had not been there to push me, I fear my bones and body would still be feeling like a person twice my age. She is an asset to my recovery. Not only has God placed the Dragon Slayer, I named her that, on my pathway to healing and health, I'm so proud, honored, and blessed to call you my friend. We love you always, Marcy.
So great to hear those things. I just have a question for the mentors on the panel. I would like to know if any of you had mentors when you were younger, or even, as an adult. Anybody want to answer that?
I did.
Can you tell us about that?
My mom was a single parent. I used to visit my dad on weekends up until I was about 12. And then I was separated from him by the court because of an abuse case. During that time, I ran sports. I participated in athletics. And my coaches, my middle school coach and teachers at school, they were to me in the same regards what I've been able to be to the students and families that I mentor. I mean, I never had, my mom worked 2 jobs and went to school, so they took me to track practice and brought me home. I needed something. If it wasn't a week that mom was getting paid, they found a way. And I've always just been raised and taught that it takes a village to raise a kid. And the best way to say thank you is to pass it along and give back the same care that you received.
Thank you. Thank you. And Clemmy, can you talk about what moment you decided to become a mentor yourself?
Well, unfortunately for me, I think started from the age of 8, I was in and out of juvenile jail and prison. So I think my mentor came to me at the age of 42, and that was God and Magdalene. Have a little partner down here. So I vowed to myself that I didn't know how to get out of it. There never was anybody at the door when I went in and out. So I always said, if one person had been at that door one time, I might have changed my life or I might have made positive decisions. So I said, if I got a chance to straighten my life up, get off of drugs, stay out of prison, or learn how to live, then I would never, ever, ever put this on any other young female. So that was my dream. I wanted to come back and help young ladies that the system and the society had given up on. And once I got a feel of it, it was just like, I was excited, you know, especially when somebody came back to ask me a question again. It was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I just been doing it. Most of my people come after 4 o'clock, and that's how I began calling myself an after program. My door just kept, you know, I'm at home. It's 5 o'clock. You know, I'm ready to chill out, and my door and my phone ringing. I'm like, you know, where are you guys coming from? You know, where's your mom, your dad, your grandmama? Go home. But I found out, you know, half of them just didn't have a home, or the mothers didn't want to let them in, or, you know, they were just scared to deal with them again. And all of a sudden, my program started from 5 to 12. So anybody after hours want to help me out, I'm here.
And Clemmy, can you talk about what you do in your program? I've seen you in action personally, but can you just share what kinds of things you all do with your girls program?
Well, with the girls' program, it's called Back to the Basics. Again, like I said, I started all this out of my house. I bring the girls in, and the only thing I talk about is trust, self-esteem, and personal hygiene. I don't talk about the graduation and all that yet, because what I found out is these young ladies, they don't trust anymore. They definitely had questions about personal hygiene, and they had a lot of healing going on, and that's what I lacked of. And once we did that, then we started talking about job readiness, high school, boys, pregnancy, drugs. And so once I saw that and saw the girls really was lost, our young teenage daughters and cousins and nieces, they are lost, y'all. And they really need some answers from us. I got all my answers from the streets. Then I started a group with the boys. The boys started coming and telling me that they wanted to get out of gangs. They want guns out of their hands. They just want somebody to talk to. And I was like, but I'm a woman. I ain't nothing I can talk to you guys about. And they was like, yes, you can, Miss C. And I'm like, okay, what we going to talk about? So next thing I know, I started with one guy, and I ended up with about 13 guys. Any guys out there want to help me out? So they come in and what I call about straight talk. Straight talk is I just straight let them talk about what's on their mind. Why are they so hurt? Why are you so angry? Why are you so lost? And the main thing they tell me is that they do not have a male figure in their life, but they want to change. 2 of my guys have come up out of there. They are, one of them own their own entertainment company now. One of them is teaching dancing at TSU, and one of them is just performing any act that he can. And these was young men that the law told me, you know, that nothing was going to come out of that. You know, when people tell me I'm wasting my time, it's like, darn it, how many people that didn't even try to waste their time on me? So these 2 sections, Back to the Basics and the Straight Talk organization, has picked up at the Goodwills down on 9th Avenue North. They have decided to let me use their building for the meetings. And I was so proud of that because my living room was running out. So those are the 2 main ones.
Thank you so much. And so I just want to ask some of the other mentors or teachers, what kind of issues do you think that the youth need help with today? You want to address that, Penny or Barbara? Penny, what kinds of things are you seeing at Martha O'Brien where kids could use a hand?
We, particularly middle school, kids get labeled a lot. And one of the challenges is, especially right here, I'm not from Tennessee. I've been here about 7 years. My husband is. But across the board, the educational system is being brought up to the standards it needs to be. And one of the challenges is the kids are frustrated at times. And so whenever anyone's frustrated, and everyone here probably can think of a time you were frustrated and you acted out of character. It could even be traffic when it rains or snows. And a child, what happens in middle school is because they look more adult-like, they have more frustrating moments. So they act a certain way. It's temporary. It won't stay. It needs some love and it needs some boundaries. And what's happening is a lot of times in middle school I see where because parents also get frustrated or guardians, they may not give the love or they don't give the boundaries. And they need both. They love it. You ask Tiara, you ask Bobby. I have another one of my kids here. They know as much as I give them very distinct boundaries, I give them equal as much love. I celebrate them when they do what they need, even when they're on the route. But I also jump on them because I know I have a world that's out there that has a little bit of grace. As older they get, each year they get older, the more they look like an adult and the more they're given adult accountability. So that's my job as a mentor, to really help them in this place right now. So I would say, honestly, one of our biggest challenges is as kids get older, that's not a freebie, that because you don't by law have to have someone watch them without having legal consequence. You still have a responsibility. And if you're working, I'm not going to say that you're wrong because you need to work. There's so many programs, Martha O'Brien, Girls on the Run, so many programs. You have a woman here that took her pain and made it her purpose. And there's so many things. If you just look, just ask, there are churches, but get your kids involved in something. Don't leave them to be raised by their peers, by the media. Literally what you'll have is a child that looks like what you see in the community.
Thank you. Do I have any comments or questions from the audience? Okay.
I work with the youth mentors at my church, and good guys, and they've got young men that they mentor, but I'm constantly trying to find workshops or training vehicles for those guys so they can get a little bit more input and information about how to be more effective as mentors. Is there something out there that I can refer them to or refer myself to?
You can email me at phoward@marthaobrien.org.
Write that down, baby.
May I just say, if anybody wants to contact anyone from the panel, I left a huge stack of my business cards out here, so take one of those, call me or email me, and so you can take one of those on your way out, and I'll put you in contact.
There's several programs, even within organizations. We have what's called professional development, and it deals with everything from, last year we had one, and you would think, would that be professional development? Human trafficking. Who's heard of that on the news? And you're thinking, in Nashville, human trafficking? Yes. And what we try to find is they try to find areas that even in the, with the police that would be targeted. Certain areas are targeted. The KC area, which is where the majority of our kids come from, is a target area because there's a heavy Somalian population there. But keeps you abreast of what is going on. Also, we have things, conflict resolution, how to deal with a child that is ADHD, and things like they can learn too. Honestly, in my class, I have several kids that may have attention deficit in many different ways. I teach everyone in different ways because of different learning styles. But I have same expectations across the board. I expect for each one of my children to give 110%. And expectations are the greatest thing we can give them. To expect them to be the best. Not that they think they can be, because think about what you all thought you could do when you were in middle school. You as an adult should see more potential in a child than they ever see in themselves. And if you all are seeing the same thing, you need to go back and figure some other stuff. You should always see your child as being more than what they could ever imagine. Stretch their potential and expectations.
We've got a comment back here.
My name is David Philippi. My wife Carol is a volunteer at Martha O'Brien, and she will be reading to 3-year-olds. But that's not mentoring as such, but simply reading. Program, I want to commend those who are doing mentoring, particularly with young people. I'm mentoring in what's called the prisoner reentry program, those who didn't have mentors and who are at high risk as children end up in the adult system. So I, along with my colleagues, Jerry Nail, we together work in mentoring inmates who are leaving prison. That begins before they leave. We follow them at the gate when they're coming out and mentor them in terms of helping them find jobs, places to stay, and a place of a family of faith where they will belong. And that's part of our mission. Now, that's not for everybody. On the other hand, it may be that if you're interested in this whole process of mentoring, then and are open to this possibility, it may be for you, maybe not, but maybe you just want to know more about it, or it may be something your organization wants to know more about. So I or my colleague Jerry Nail will be available to anyone that's interested in hearing more about prisoner reentry mentoring program.
Thank you. Oh, yes, and also, yeah, I have a clipboard here today. If you didn't sign up, we had sign-up sheets for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and Girls on the Run. If you wanted to sign up for any of those and you didn't get a chance, we've got a clipboard we can pass around. Yes, Melissa?
My question is for Clemmy Greenlee. I know you talked that you recently will be having your classes at the Goodwill Center. And so what volunteer opportunities do you have? And also, being that you're a grassroots organization, what kind of resources are needed in terms of, making your program successful?
People.
Oh, I'm Melissa Gordon.
Well, can you just say who you are other than Melissa Gordon, community advocate?
I'm just an audience member today. I'm not working. Melissa Gordon, so I'm a social worker, community activist. I wear a lot of hats, but today I'm just relaxing.
Thank you, Melissa. Really, number one with me is people. I mean, I know you always holler funds. I've been zero for 9 years, so I don't even dwell on that because the people is more important. I'm just now starting a 3rd grade to 5th grade reading class because I'm starting with my 9-year-old grandson that I found that's a big gap in the 3rd and 5th grade kids of reading, a real big gap. So I definitely would love to have someone to help me out with that. Tutors, I'm looking for some tutoring. I got about 3 more girls that, really, really want to graduate in May, but they having a little problem with some of their homework. More than anything, I would like someone to come in and bring a little hors d'oeuvres to them. I would like somebody to come and sing a song to them. I would like just to have people to just come and check out what I'm doing. Bring your ideas to the table. Come and show a little computer skills, telemarketing skills. Just come and ask for information from Allison because Allison has been great with just trying to keep me afloat. She could tell, just from being with me that it's really been hectic, but I'm not a quitter. I am never going to quit. Also, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, and then I'll...
No, also, I'm going to change the subject very quick because I don't want this young man to leave. When you was asking about is anything out here for trades to get your young man's in, I would like for you to ask Addison for my information because what I want to talk about is starting more welding, electrician, plumbing classes back up for our young men's and women's. And the reason I brought that up is that I took 4 little thug guys, they claim they thugs. I took them to my home and I took the door off of my room on purpose just to see who could put it back on, and neither one of them could do it. So that right there, it brought a light bulb to me because if they couldn't put that door back on there, and there was 4 and they was 14 to 16, then maybe we start teaching them their own trades and their own resources. And, I'm a big believer. If somebody had taught me how to fish instead of kept feeding me the fish, I might have jumped out of the lake.
I was just going to say, I know you're being a little modest about resources that are needed. And so, again, I'm a social worker and community activist. Clemmy's a good friend of mine. And we have this opportunity to have a summer camp, back to the basics summer camp for girls in her program. And one of the things that will be definitely needed, so Clemmy does all this, you know, on her own dime for the most part. And so what is needed is transportation. And so if you have access to churches that will help pick up the girls for the camp, that would be ideal. And so again, you could email Allison and we'll get connected, because it's, again, a great program that she's running, and we need the village to step up. So,
well, thank you. On that note, they do call me Baby Mexico. My little minivan, I have like 17 youth in it, and I just pray I don't ever get pulled over, but I have to do what I have to do.
I'm going to pass around this clipboard. Sir, if I can just give you that, if you'd like to sign up and put your phone number or email address, and we'll just pass it around the room so I can contact you and put you in touch with Clemmy. So I have a question over here real quick.
I just want to say that I had a struggle learning to read and write. Okay, I'm sorry about that. And I make presentations. I just moved here from Atlanta, Georgia. In Georgia, I was speaking at a lot of literacy agencies and helping to sensitize teachers to the students' inadequacies and helping to sensitize the student to the teacher's expertise. And I would be delighted to share with anyone who might be interested in hearing the story of how I struggled in learning to read, and I still live today with a lot of those bad memories. And the church was the only place that I felt comfortable in learning how to read. And I have a card.
Thank you, thank you. Let me get a couple comments, questions over here.
I'm Judy Morris, and I want to say something in response to what some of the panel members have said, and the gentleman who talked, who said his wife reads to 3-year-olds, and which isn't really mentoring. Actually, it is or can be. You never really know. Different kids respond to different things. I teach travel skills to blind kids, and I have a girl who, and I am definitely not very good at counseling or anything, but who, for a variety of reasons, is resistant to everything, and a lot of problems. And just taking time for my lessons when she brings something up, deciding that maybe that's more important than teaching her how to get around, may be more important. Or I did a yoga club, and I am not a yoga instructor. I just happened to have a DVD. I wanted to be able to do it more, and had a DVD that I could, I kept emphasizing I'm not a teacher. I'm just heading this up and facilitating, because some of the kids couldn't see what was on the screen. And I had a girl who opened up to me about problems, and and actually was able to relate to yoga, because I really emphasized the relaxation things and the deep breathing, and she happened to be at my lunch table and couldn't get over somebody who wasn't dating her anymore, who unfortunately was in the same class at the same table, and get her to start to do deep breathing when she started to get anxious over it. So you really don't know what's going to relate to a kid. It doesn't. Sometimes it's different personalities may click in with them versus, and somebody else may not. But it also can be an activity, and it's, I think mentoring is maybe sometimes more just recognizing when a natural opportunity comes up and using it.
Thank you. We have another comment here.
Hi, my name is Nancy, and I just want to say that what struck me about the film was when people were talking about Daisy at the end, they really said she wasn't a god, she was a human being. And that's the commonality that we all share with each other. We're all on the same road, and I want to thank all of you and everybody who mentors in one way or another for making that road I walk a little bit easier.
Question in the back.
Allison?
Yes.
Can I say something while you're jogging over
there?
Yes, sure. One of the points that I wanted to make, and I wanted to make it while 2 of my parents are here, even as sometimes we're put in a seat temporarily, until another person that's positioned to be there gets back in their seat with all the power that was always in them. She made something in the movie, she made a comment, something was spoken about how sometimes her being in that role, that even for parents, it's kind of hard sometimes. And I just want to point out, as a mentor, there are times being a mentor is hard, and there's times being a mentor is easier. And I say this with my parents being here. I never want to take their role, because their role there, and as I've told Ms. Malone on many occasions, you're her #1 advocate. You proved that point when you carried her for 9 months. And with Ms. McGuire, she may not have given birth to Bobby, but she took him in her heart when another woman was not available. And so I am a seat holder in many regards. I hold that seat, whether it's a seat in helping with academics, with emotional growth, with spiritual, whatever they need. I hold that seat, and sometimes I hold that seat to encourage the mother or the sister, or not just the child, that I'm just temporarily here. But as that point was made, as a mentor, I may sometimes seem like I'm acting in a maternal role, but I am always just that. I'm the mentor. And as soon as this woman sees everything that's in her, she gets her seat and she goes on, and then the next person that's assigned to me. But that's one of the sometimes hard things of a mentor, that it has to be communicated that you really do. You advocate. You're in a temporary positioning, even though you give a full-time commitment.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I just had 2 additional resources for people. I attend the Village Church, and we had a few of our families here, but we were actually founded in Casey Homes in the Martha O'Brien Center, and we have a free after-school program for children, middle school and high school, in the 37206 and 37207 zip code. Additionally, I am an attorney with the Juvenile Public Defender's Office. And many people don't know that we actually have a few things where, for example, we do Know Your Rights programs, where we'll come out to, when we're invited to churches or to after-school programs or mentorship programs, to inform people of their rights, but also a few months ago did a parents Know Your Rights at the Martha O'Brien Center, so that fathers can know their rights in terms of parental rights, not just criminal legal rights. And also we have a kids' rights program with the Juvenile Public Defender's Office that advocates for children within the school system to prevent them from ever coming into juvenile court. So those are some programs available for you all to know about, and to spread that to other people, that we're always welcome and willing to assist people with that. Lastly, I heard someone talking about prison reentry, and that reminded me that Michelle Alexander, who wrote the book, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration, is coming to Nashville in March. And it's an amazing opportunity for us to look at somehow of how these systems continue to connect with one another and take different forms, and how we have to then adapt to then learn how to fight them in new ways.
Thank you. Does anybody need the clipboard right now? Does anybody want to sign up for anything? Okay. No, I don't think so. Thank you, though. Did you want this? Yeah, Big Brothers Big Sisters is on there. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hold on. We're going to... Okay.
Has given me the opportunity to share my love of book repair, as well as the Ungame, which is designed to teach interpersonal communication skills, and I'm also hoping to teach them how to throw the boomerang.
All right, thank you. Well, we're going to wrap up in just a minute. Does anybody on the panel have any parting words, anything else you'd like to add? Not to put you on the spot.
But I just would like to say that mentoring with Big Brothers Big Sisters is a very easy way.
This will be brief. Sorry.
Okay, just a very easy way to get into mentoring, and there's plenty of support if it's something that seems a bit intimidating.
Okay.
They provide a lot of support and a lot of resources.
Okay, thank you.
I'd just like to add also that every organization up here and out there is well needed. But remember, after hours are well needed. When everything closes at 5 o'clock, that's when it all turns over, and no one has anywhere to take the youth beyond that. We definitely need some after-hour programs.
Thank you. I think we'll wrap up there, and we've got a little time that you all can talk to each other after the program. Thank you, Clemmy Greenlee. Thank you, Penny Howard. Thank you, Barbara Wanker. Thank you, Marcy Brolin. And thanks to your guests. Thank all of you. Really appreciate you being here. If you do sign up to be a mentor, bring them to Community Cinema. Bring your mentees to Community Cinema. It's a free program. I'm going to put the clipboard outside in case anybody wants more information.